guys, Kyle Morrison from Men After Divorce here. I just wanted today to talk about starting over after divorce for men. The word starting over is what I want to really concentrate on, not recovery, but the point where you're starting the new life that you want to live. Now, this is a tricky subject because people don't really understand what that is or how that can be achieved, especially soon after the divorce. So I just wanted to go into a little bit about what that really means, what a new start might look like, what it isn't as well. So first of all, this is sort of an image that I find really annoying, that people think that guys after divorce simply go out, grab a new wife, are successful straight away, live in financial security, and they're on with their life straight away, while the woman suffers in the background with the kids and so on. Now, that happens sometimes, but it's a blatant lie that is the majority of men. That's just not what happens. Most men go through a serious period of mental anguish, emotional anguish. They don't go out and find younger women straight away, or if they do, it's not successful. Starting out after divorce is not just about forgetting everything and dropping it and moving on. And that kind of brings me to the first point I want to make. What does starting over really mean? I mean, what it doesn't mean, and these are some of the misconceptions. It's not about forgetting. It's not about forgetting everything that's happened. Some guys think that if they can just forget all that horrible divorce stuff, they can move on with their life easier. But as soon as you forget a life experience like that, you lose so much more. You need to actually remember it. Not remembering the horrible pain, but remembering the lessons learned. Remembering how that can make you a better person, a new person. You don't forget the bad things that happen to you in life. You actually learn from them, adjust, overcome, and become better. So it's not about forgetting. And it's not about finding new relationships, as I just alluded to. It's not fair on the person that you're dating, or the fair on yourself, to go out and start trying to find a new relationship before you're ready to. If it's too soon, you're often just trying to find a replacement for your old relationship, which is, doomed to fail until you're ready to commit to a new relationship. So it's trying to be a continuation of the old, or it's an attempt to boost your self-esteem to see if you can find a woman. But that's not a sustainable relationship either. So that's not really starting anew. That's just in the throes of the mental and emotional anguish you go through. It's also not continuing doing the same old thing. I stress this a lot to guys. You can't go back to who you were a couple of years ago when you weren't married, or 10 years ago, or 20 or 30 even. Although I guess the older you are, the more you realise that. But you can't go back to doing the same thing again. You can't go back to being the single guy that you were. And at the same time, you can't continue living your life like you were when you're married. It's very easy to have those habits and fall back into them, but they don't bring you anything new. They don't bring you any happiness or fulfillment now that your life has completely changed. So you can't do the same thing. You've got to move and adjust and change. What it means is a real restart to your life. It's a new direction. And this can only be achieved after you've sort of come to grips with the divorce anyway. So you can't actually start over until after you've completely kind of left that divorce behind, once you've accepted it and really moved on. And that's a long process as well. So don't think that you can just start over straight away. It does take time. Now, the more you know about it, the faster you can move through those phases and get towards the point where you can look at your life and say, well, what do I want to be? Who do I want to be? And you can evaluate yourself and make that new start. It's actually a time where you can find new opportunities. It's almost like a gift to completely change things if you need to. As horrible as the situation is, it's a way that you can actually make a great start to your life, or a restart to your life. That's what happened with me. You can actually change a lot of what you're doing. But as I mentioned, you have to go through a sort of a set of stages to get to this point. Now, these are the stages of divorce. They're actually exactly the same as the stages of grief that you go through. If you lose a loved one, if they pass away, or even if you lose like your house or something through a mortgage, anything of great personal value that you lose, you're going to go through a period of grief. Now, this diagram sort of says that it doesn't seem to show that there's any linkages between them. They can all happen at the same time, but that's not really true. They can happen in different orders, but the most typical way is guys go through a stage of denial, where they just don't think it's happening. Stage of anger, once they realise it is happening, they get very angry, full of rage or bitterness. After that becomes sort of bargaining, desperation, I guess I would call it as well, where they'll try to do anything to get that old life back, basically. And once that doesn't work, and it very rarely does, or if it does work, it doesn't work very long, it comes depression. You know, once you realize it's over completely, that being angry doesn't do anything for you, you can't bargain, there's nothing left, it leaves you feeling very hollow, very empty. And this stage can last a long time for some guys, and that's really, really dangerous. There's a very high suicide rate amongst divorced men, which is incredibly unfortunate. But eventually you do come through that, and you get to the point where resignation, or I like to call it acceptance, I think that's got a better ring to it as well. And that means that you've kind of accepted what's happened. You understand why it's happened. You know, you may not be happy about the entire thing. You don't need to jump for joy at this point, but it means that you're no longer feeling that denial, anger, bargaining, or depression. All those stages are gone. You may still feel something bad, but you know, you can get on with your life, and at this point you can actually start over again. Now, I could talk for days and days about this sort of cycle and how it affects men, but that's just the basic idea in a nutshell. But listen, if you want to know more about those stages, how you can move through them, and how you can actually go one step beyond acceptance as well, and really get a good start to your new life, then head over to my site at menafterdivorce.com. I've got an ebook that I wrote there. I'm a divorce guy as well. I have been through a lot of the same stuff that you may have been through. So I've put down my thoughts and my research and what I've gained from talking to other divorce guys in a book, along with some psychology that I've researched as well, that can probably help you get through the really difficult times as well. So, listen, if you are struggling, you're feeling depressed or angry or just don't know what to do, then head over to the site, have a look at the ebook. It may be able to help you. Anyway, have a good day. Thanks.